Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Lokomai Life. We are sitting here on just a couple days left before the end of the year, and it is time for us to kind of go back through the year and look at a couple different things that have happened. However, before we started that, wanted to say hi to a couple people in chat who've been hanging out in chat, and I was having a little talk with Here She Goes. So, hey, here she goes. And Sleuth Mom just popped in. How you doing, Sleuth Mom? Hope you had a great Christmas. I mean, nothing but fun when you got little ones running around the house and family or in my case, little dogs running around the house. We all know how that goes. So hope everyone had a great Christmas. It really, really was a fun one. So I actually had a fun one myself, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about that one in just a second. And however, just wanted to start off wishing everyone a wonderful, in case I forget, because I do have a tendency of forgetting things. If I don't tell you, have a wonderful New Year's before we finish this. I just wanted to say that. And here we go. Let's start ourselves up. Aloha and welcome to the Lokomai Life. So yeah, it's been a long year for many of us. A lot of us here have started coming together. We all ended up on YouTube for various reasons, and whether it started off as a true crime thing, and then we just started, in my case, started off true crime. And then I found myself seeing more and more about missing people. Yeah, we were hearing about Summer Wells, Gabby, things like that. And next thing you knew, I was researching others that were out there. And that's where Missing Mondays came out of. We started hearing from so many people about how many others are actually missing, and we don't know their face. We don't know their name. We don't know anything about them. We don't even know they're missing. And that's something we needed to take a look at and bring their stories to the public, try to get a little bit more out there. So when I kind of was looking at what to do this time, as we come up on our last Missing Mondays of 2021, there's a lot going on out there. We have another Amber Alert that happened a week ago, right as we were finishing actually Missing Mondays last week. I had literally just walked away from my computer and went to go take a bath, and the Amber Alert for Lena came out, the little girl from San Antonio, Texas. So I jumped on real quick and was able to get that. And I was really hoping by this time this week, I'd have better information. Hopefully she would have been home with her family and all. And yes, we've got more information on her now, but she's not home yet. We've gone through Christmas and another story of someone who has been pulled away from their families and needs our help in getting them home. So I thought what I would do, one of the things that I've discovered doing this is that you start getting close to the stories you're telling. You start, when you hear like about Kamari, when she went missing, and we really started feeling close to her, Monkey, Ariel, Isabella. We start feeling very close to them, and no matter what, you don't forget about them. It's kind of like those stories that I used to do. I'd watch a Dateline or something like that when I was 15, 20 years ago, and all of a sudden I start thinking, wonder what happened to that person. So I kind of go back to look and see what actually happened with them. And that's what I wanted to do today, is kind of go back to as many of the different cases we've seen so far and just give you an update. Where are they now? Were they found? Do we still need to do whatever we can to get the word out to other people? So that's what I wanted to focus on today. So we're going to break this down into basically 3 sections. Those that are still missing, those that came home and they're with their families and they had hopefully an amazing Christmas, all that, and they're going into a new year with a chance to continue living their lives and reaching their goals. And then the ones that were taken away too early. In some cases, we failed them. By we, I'm talking a collective. I'm not talking about anyone in this community. I'm talking about groups such as, quite often we talk about Child and Family Services. Okay, so many who are being failed just because of overall issues, whether there's just too much for them to follow if you're part of CPS, or problems within the system itself, or things like that. So there's 3 different groupings that I want. And there was one other group I'm going to kind of address here, which were the ones that when I started doing research on who was found and where updates were, a large portion that are no longer popping up in the database, but I'm not finding anything on the news saying they were found. And at first my gut was, oh, great, they were found, but because they're juveniles, they don't want to say anything or whatever, even though usually they'll sit there and say, oh, so-and-so was found. There's not going to be further information because this case involves a juvenile. That's what I was thinking. And many times, yes, that's true. But for example, as you're going to see in this, every one of the cases in Philadelphia that we looked at a couple weeks ago are not showing up on the database now. So I'm not sure if something was wrong with the database while I was researching. That's always a possibility. You know me, I'm not going to try jumping to things or anything like that here. But it was something I cannot honestly say they're safe right now at home. So sorry, puppy is trying to get food from me right now. And so let's go ahead. And I did want to start with what I feel is probably the one we need to be keeping the closest eye out for. And that is our people who are still missing. And we've got a lot who still need our help. They need us. So I'm going to kind of go over them, and then I'm going to bring back up their thumbnails that I brought up before. Hey, Robbie, welcome, my dear. These people, as we said before, how many times we have found someone in a different state than where they went missing? And that's why it's so important for you guys too. And I know those of you who are here every week, in and out, you know this. But for anyone new who's watching this, we have things here that you can screenshot. And you real quickly can send the screenshot out. You don't have to even send the whole video if you'd like. But that screenshot has the information on it that you need. So these people were still missing, and we need to do what we can. We've got Alicia and Lena. Lena, the little girl in the red there, she's our one from San Antonio. Hello, welcome back. Here she goes. Brendan, we talked about last week. Brendan is our college student who went missing. Monkey Michael has actually been one of the little ones that has wormed his way into my heart. I don't know what. There's a couple people here. You know, if anyone's ever been a teacher, there's certain kids that just, there's something about them that just worms their way into your heart. And him sitting there with that little ice cream looking back at me when I'm editing something or whatever, it's just so, looking at him, and to know his mom, and we're going to go over his thumbnail and all that, but knowing these people have family who are looking for them actively. They're in Facebook groups. They're creating Facebook groups. They're going out and talking on on videos. They're trying to get people to pick up this story. And if there's one thing I would beg right now is for anyone who has a larger channel, pick up these stories. Help share the information. I have not covered 2 of the people on this thing, but you know, they are still, and I know there's many, many more people who are missing, but these are some of the big names we've been looking at this year. Summer Wells, there's also the West Boys. I did not include them on here. Oakley Carlson. Oakley's parents have actually, and I will probably be doing some talking either on my own or with someone else I've been talking to recently about Oakley. She's gone missing, and her family is behind bars right now, parents, but there's a lot, again, a CFS case that just has been so kind of like with Ariel here in Hawaii. So much was failed, so much that we need to fix. And Sleuth Mom, yeah, no problem. You'll watch, no problem. You've been doing amazing. Sleuth Mom has been doing an amazing job with things, and she's really been trying to keep all these stories active also. Connor is the young boy in Canada. I think it was Toronto. I'll find out in just a second who went missing. He is also still missing. And Victoria. Victoria was part of the runaway episode that I did a couple weeks ago. And just as a reminder, again, that as we're going through all these, so many of these people may start off as runaways, but their lives become so much more dangerous than just, I'm escaping and getting freedom. For that freedom, they're also giving away, most likely in many cases, their freedom. They think they're free until all of a sudden they get pulled in to whether it be trafficking circles, drug circles, prostitution, all these other things that put them in danger. And so those are some of the ones that are missing at this point. And just to kind of go through and remind everyone. And again, like I said, screenshot these. Okay, please consider screenshotting these and share the screenshot out. Alicia Navarro, she's 15 years old and went missing in Glendale, Arizona. She went missing in 2019, no problem, my dear Robbie. And the dogs, I'm multitasking and doing this. Isn't this good? I swear, these dogs. She went missing in 2019, so she has changed. And that's something for us to remember on a lot of these people. As the time goes, they are changing. They're not looking like, Alicia's not looking like this young teen that you're seeing there. Okay, at that picture there, she was, 13 years old? She's now 15. Big difference, anyone who's ever had a child. So brown hair, brown eyes. If you've seen her or heard anything about her, please contact the Glendale police there. Next, Victoria. Victoria, as I had mentioned, had gone missing at the age of 13, back in September, and is still missing at this point. They're looking for, she is from Florida, and our phone number is there for her. Please, again, all of these stories, feel free to go back into my other videos. I have the whole playlist for Missing Mondays. I've created as a playlist because I want people to be able to go in there and find a video quickly if they're looking. I don't want you guys having to search through God knows how many videos over time. I want you to be able to go in there and find something very quickly. Our next is Brendan. We talked about Brendan last week, and there's some of these, they've been doing a lot more research, trying to get more people involved, having the FBI involved, things like that. Brendan is still missing. They're still looking for him. Again, as a reminder, he went missing on the Michigan State University campus while he was there for a football and Halloween game, Halloween party. And he is not the type that would be disappearing like this. He is not the type who would have been a runaway. If anything, could he have gotten hurt or something like that? They have not found any evidence of foul play. They have also not found any evidence of him. So right now, it's a blank canvas as to what may have been happening with him. So the more information, going through pictures, trying to find what we've ever seen, If you happen to be many times, especially with younger people like this, they play, I don't know about Brendan, but maybe they play computer games and stuff like that. Or they're out on Facebook or Instagram and you recognize these. See, that's why this is so important for us to talk about these things. I could be flipping through my shorts on YouTube, or checking out my Instagram, and all of a sudden I see a picture of someone in the background. And because I don't even know what I'm looking for, I miss it. And it might have been the one clue that could have connected things. So please take a look for any of this information. Now, Monkey. Monkey is one every time. I try to go and check updates about once a week or so to see has anything happened. And I'm sorry, I've got a brand new camera right now, and it's on my computer screen, and it's getting replaced because every time anything moves, the whole screen moves. So I'm sorry for that if you're getting airsick. I also know what it is. I've got dogs beneath me. Yes, that's it. So Michael, as I said, We have no Amber Alerts out on Michael. All we know is the police and everyone feel he's in danger at this point. He went missing from his area. He'd been outside playing, and no one saw him again after that. Now, whether he wandered away and got in trouble, or if he wandered away and someone grabbed him or something like that, we don't know. We don't know what actually is happening in any of these cases. With this, all we can do is keep an eye out. They are trying to do everything. Michael, there's a couple of these cases it frustrates me because I know we could get the word out so much. This little one has been missing for months now. July. How many people have heard his story? We finally have some larger channels who are picking up on these stories and and they're going to get to a lot more than the couple hundred people that I'm getting to, and the couple hundred people that Sleuth Mom is getting to. And it's so wonderful every time I see something where they're being shared, rather than focusing on the drama side of missing people. It's like, let's find these people. So Michael, I know his mom because I don't know his mom. I see his mom on Facebook all the time. Hey guys, stop jumping up and down. And I see his mom on Facebook quite often making comments. There's a couple groups, and she's in there trying to make sure that people do not forget him. This is that time that things go cold. You're talking 5, 6, 7 months. This is when things start going cold, and we forget exactly about the story. We forget to keep looking. The clues coming in are just becoming less and less, and we need those to continue. We need to keep the picture out there. We need to get, there's been some amazing, there was a song I heard a couple of weeks ago sung by Michael's grandfather, song he had written for him. It's just one of the most amazing, listening to him singing it and know the emotions that were going on with it. So Michael is still missing and still needs any help that we can give him. Connor, as I mentioned, is from Toronto. He disappeared from there. Again, it's been about a month at this point. So if you could share any of the information with him on that. And I'm sorry, my dogs are really having fun. There, I've got the puppy. That should help. And also, and last, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on Lena right now. Lena deserves her own video, actually. And there, shade dogs there. Cassie is a little bit more, takes a little bit more time. But Lena deserves a video. As I mentioned last week, right after our Missing Mondays last week, an Amber Alert went out. The Amber Alert for Lena actually did go out as her mother had been out playing. Okay, to tell you guys the story, her mother had been out playing with her in the playground where they live. They live in San Antonio, Texas, in a building. At one point, I heard it had like 300 different apartments. So it's one of those really large complex type things. So she went missing. And as she went missing during that, they called in the police. After about an hour and a half of looking, okay, Mom looked. Now, part of the problems they're having here is Mom does not speak much English. These are, Lena and her whole family are refugees from Afghanistan. This is not the type of life that they're used to. Okay, they're not used to looking out around their, head, every shoulder, every time is someone coming around and are they going to hurt my child? Stranger danger, those types of things are not stuff that they're taught. So there's been a lot of people, parents are involved because who would do this and who would do, well, you know what, in all honesty, they probably didn't even think that this was a potential. And Mom had left Lena in the playground and had asked people to watch her. My personal thought is I have a gut feeling she either didn't explain it well using her English or they didn't understand her. She came back a few minutes later, Lena was gone. They've been looking for her. Her whole family has been very, very active. Father's been doing a lot of talking. Father's really been the one doing a lot of the talking on this. Couple concerns I personally had on this. It took 5 hours to get the Amber Alert out. Yes, part of that was an hour and a half before the police were called at a time where you really need to be getting things out. But if you've ever been in San Antonio area, you recognize very quickly that it is only about 3 hours from Mexico. Do the math. 5 hours to the border. I mean, 3 hours to the border, 5 hours for the Amber Alert. It's very, very feasible that she could have ended up there. So FBI is involved. So many different groups are involved in this, and we need to try to get her. She's only been gone a week. Okay, we need to plaster her information. This is one that has gotten on a couple sites and couple YouTube channels, but not nearly the level it should be. Okay, we talk about summer and all. Okay, there's right now, interesting bit of information. There are only 2 Amber Alerts right now in the whole country that are listed on the Amber Alert website. One is Summer, the other is Lena. Now, let me ask, how many people have ever seen Lena's face? How many of us have seen Summer's? Not that Summer doesn't need the, people to be keeping an eye out for her and stuff like that. But Lena needs people to be looking out for her. They need people to be sharing the picture. She has an Amber Alert out on her. Okay, this is the reason why I got involved in this, and so many other people are getting involved in doing this type of thing, is because all it takes is getting that one little picture right there out to the right person. So please, if you can just screenshot that and just send it out to your friends, post it on your Facebook. Like I said, it doesn't take long. How many people in the last couple months have we found in another state? What are the chances she's still even in Texas at this point? So whatever you can do on sharing that. Now, this is the area I wanted to address real quickly. I don't know what's going on with this group of 5, and it worries me, actually. As I mentioned, I went into the database. I could not find them. I'm hoping the database was down at the time, but I was able to find other people. So that's why I'm kind of confused on this whole thing. So whatever is going on, none of them are showing as found at this time. Everyone, in fact, Kadar, they've brought the FBI into play. But none of them have been found, but all of them are off the database. What's going on there? Why it worries me more is all of these girls are from Philadelphia. As I mentioned in the one video 2 months ago or so, Philadelphia, it started off, I was just looking at Kadar, and all these other girls and guys started popping up in my list as also missing, and it scared the shit out of me. Plain and simple, it scared me to death. Because why are so many people missing from this one area? Well, the more research I've done, the more scared I've become, because I've started realizing and talking to people from the area or who have done research and stuff like that, as well as in law enforcement, that there are major trafficking circles that run through Philadelphia, right through this area. That scares me because we're still not looking. All we know is these kids are missing. I don't know. Why are they no longer showing up on the database, but we're not seeing anything else? I'm seeing a month ago where the FBI was involved in, at least with Kadar's. So I made the decision, I'm keeping them in this and showing you guys these screenshots because until I know differently, they're still missing. And the fact that a huge group of children from one city in the United States were in the database and are no longer in the database. I'm not going to say some of the stuff that's popping into my head right now, but all I am saying is, are we actually protecting our kids right now? Is this another sign of us failing them? Because if someone sees one of these girls right now and they still are missing, no one's going to know about it because everything's disappeared. Yet all of them were there at one time. So we have Jada. Okay, and as you're going to notice through here, many of them disappeared out of the same couple blocks, okay, in Philadelphia. Kaylani. Okay, Kaylani is 15 years old and 5'5", 150 pounds. One of the things I discovered with a lot of these things is there was only one picture of them. Nevaeh, which I've always loved the name Nevaeh because it's heaven backwards. It's something years ago, I did not realize it till someone told me, and I was like, that's a perfect name for a beautiful girl like her. She went missing wearing blue jogging pants, white shirt, and blue jacket. We've got our phone number for contacting her. Kadar. Kadar's who started this whole thing in Philadelphia and just set off one thing after another. Like I said, FBI has been brought in at this point. They've been looking. That's why I find it very interesting that FBI was involved. There's not, at least I'm not finding anything about her being found. Okay, yet she's also not showing up. So there's just so many questions that are popping up in my head right now. Trinity. Trinity's a 16-year-old. Like I said, are many of these runaways? Yeah, most likely. Most likely, many of them are runaways. But many of our runaways are also the ones who get in, their lives are put in more danger than many of the other situations we deal with. Okay, their life is in danger. Their whole future is just a nightmare in many cases, and they need our help with that. And there's Jada. Jada with her braids there, 13 years old, again, from East Haines Street area. I think the second one from that block, okay, a different block, but the same street. Oh, I got Nevaeh in there twice. And sorry. And well, even more reason for us to be going out there and trying to track them down. And Kadar. So David Kaylani Weston. And then now for our found safe. So with those, please share those other ones. Now, I did want to kind of go through all the ones that we found. Because one of the hardest things, and I know Sleuth Mom and I've had this discussion privately offline, one of the hardest things at doing this type of thing, and I think maybe one of the reasons why everyone gets stuck on certain cases. Okay, everyone gets stuck on the summer cases and stuff like that, is because it's hard to keep opening yourself up to all these people and to know that their life could be cut short, that God knows what's happening behind closed doors, things like that. So it's easier just to focus in on one person than have to possibly hear over and over that someone did not make it, for example, because that hits each time you hear it. These are the ones that, and I got a couple ones when I was putting this together. There's a couple people here I did not know had been found, and it just, my mood went from here like this. It was the best stuff ever. It was really great. So Cleo, we all remember our little Cleo. Cleo was our little one that was in Australia, was stolen out of a tent. Now, point I do want to make with this, because it kind of came together. How many times I heard people pointing the finger at her parents. And I'm not making this as a comparison to Summer or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is in general. And I was hearing it. Cleo's parents, I think they have something to do with it. And then people were building up this whole story as to why they had something to do with it. And in the end, who had Cleo? Some guy had actually grabbed her and was still in the city where they were from. And yet so many people have built up this whole story about how her parents must have done something to her. Now, I get it. As I'm going through these cases, I get in my head so many times this thought, could the parents be involved with this? Okay, I'm not saying that. My mind hasn't popped up and wondered, okay, could Lena's parents be involved? I don't think so. But it does cross your mind. But I think it's important for us when we're dealing with these types of stories that we need to truly remember that these are lives. They're not just a child missing, not just a young adult or an adult missing, but there's a mother and a father, sisters, brothers, other people. And you know what? We don't know everything that's going on. We only know a small percentage of what the police know. And it's one thing for us to be normal human beings who want to try to figure things out, but it's another thing for us to try to figure things out and poke. I heard someone the other day, actually, we were talking about Lena. I saw a message on a Facebook group, and someone had to come in, an admin, and say, guys, we need to stop coming up with all these things and saying, parents did this, that's it, closed book, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't want to get into rumor mills and stuff like that. Someone came in, I replied, and someone else came and replied to me, and I loved the comment that they came up with. All of a sudden, the comment was, the moment that people start coming up with this idea that the parents did it and this is how it happened and all that, and they come up with some sort of story that closes out the whole case in their mind, that's the moment they stop looking for the child. Why look for the child if you're positive in your head that they're no longer with us and the parent had something to do with it? So that's why it's more important than ever that we don't find ourselves in that place, that we're making the decision that these kids are either written off or their family had something to do. They need to continue being looked for. So same thing, summer, for example. I will say it was summer. Okay, we can't just close our mind to the thing, oh, I'm sure it had to be the parents. It's got to be the parents. It's the parents. Well, guess what? If you're thinking that, you're going to stop looking for summer. And you know what? What if she is out there right now and she's still looking? We're still okay, she's hoping we're going to find her. But we've decided, no, story's done. There's nothing left other than to talk about the parent or whatever. So please remind yourself, yes, it's healthy to have that wonder about what's going on. But it's not healthy when we close ourselves to all the other possibilities. And because if people had done that, they never would have found Cleo. They would have just said it was her parents. Story done. Amira Shaheed was found. Anna Burke was was taken by a guy, and they found her, if I recall, a state away. They had been run to a different state. Found her there. Isabel Kring and Jade Ennis, the other two there. Those were two that were in a school, and this, I did not know they had been found. These were the two that I was, oh my gosh, it really made my day. Because I've been worried about these two. They were two teenagers who had disappeared out of a high school. Okay, so many things. Of course, what's the first thing people think? Oh, they ran away, whatever. No, they were with two guys. They were with a guy. That guy's been arrested. Okay, whatever the situation was that led up to that is their story and on how it did. But they were with a guy who was taking advantage of them. But they're safe now. People didn't give up on them because they were a runaway or whatever. They were like, people are like, nope, these are two girls that need to be found. And they were found. And they were returned to their family. They're with their family. They're working their way back into school, things like that. And this is the ending of the stories that we want to hear. We really need to hear more and more of these stories because it's in getting the pictures of them out, the stories of them out. And then Barbara, we talked about just a couple weeks ago. Barbara, for those of you who did not hear any updates about Barbara had been kidnapped, basically, by a guy, and he had kind of pushed himself on her with another girl around and left. She was found. A couple days later, she was found. I just think about every one of these 6 people right here, and there were so many others, but these 6 are now at home, and every one of these 6 we wondered about at one time or another. We could have given up on every one of these people. We didn't. Now there's the other side of things, the ones that hey, Robbie, welcome back. Unfortunately, some of them we find. The ones we just talked about, we found, and they're home with their family and they're happy. And oh, you want to do my laundry, Robbie? Ooh. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with missing people, and this is probably one of the harder parts I have when I see some of these stories come together, because I do put myself into every one of these family members. I remember doing every one of these videos. Ariel's the one who started me on this whole thing. Ariel lived literally 10 to 15 minutes away from my house. It frustrated me to no extent what happened with her. Her adoptive parents are in jail right now. Her older sister informed the police as to how she died. There are just so many. Oh, ooh, Robbie, we'll have to talk. They aren't just exactly, here she goes, and I think you just hit it on the head. Okay, they are not just statistics. Okay, they're individual people with individual people, different people who care about them. Okay, they matter. And that's the problem. Okay, at first when we start these videos, we see them as just cases, not cases. That's why I'm kind of using the word stories more than cases, because you know what? They have their life story. And Ariel was lost to us. We failed Ariel. We failed many people. There are many others that, and this is going to be a video at some point I am going to do. Outside of this group, there are so many others who have been failed by CPS. Now, I get it. CPS is busy. They are not financed the way they need to be financed. But these are children. And you know what? They're worth everything that we have to make them successful. And it infuriates me when I see a little girl who never should have been put up for adoption with a certain couple to begin with, because the adoptive father was a convicted felon. There's no reason why that should have happened. How many times were things reported for Ariel, for so many other children who there's been reports of, oh yes, I see bruises, I see this, I see that, and yes, I know it can go overboard and CPS can go too far on the other direction too. We've had that discussion here. But right now, Ariel should still be with us, plain and simple. Why do I have two names there? She was known to all of us. Okay, will do, Robbie. I'm going to be taking a look for that. So, why do I have two names there? Her name was literally Ariel Sellers her whole life, till the last couple weeks of her life, months of her life. And it was changed to Isabella Kalua. Even her family still called her Ariel. But the family is now trying to work to make sure that Ariel is known as Ariel. On her death certificate, on her tombstone, she is not Isabella Kalua, and she never will be. So that's why I have Ariel there, because unfortunately people would not be able to research that. Ooh, wow. Robbie just sent me this stuff. Miami real estate agent labeled a suspected serial killer following attacks on homeless. Ooh, I'm going to do some research on that for sure, Robbie. Wow. Okay. I'm definitely going to be looking at that. Cummery Holland, unfolded in front of our eyes. Many of us saw that whole thing unfold. Another case of a little girl who, there's so much more to the story as to whether or not there are others involved, potentially a mother that was involved. Her case is not over. And all of these cases, the gone too soon cases, if there are updates, I will be updating you guys with them, because I'm interested and I want to know what's going on, and I will be passing that on with you guys. The family has been slowly celebrating her life. sh burying her and trying to move on, but how do you move on? Her family's been so gracious. I've actually received a messenger off of Facebook Messenger from family, 2 of them so far, and from family members, and those are the times, guys, that you realize that what you're doing here when you're watching these videos, when you're watching these true crime videos, that they're not just stories for our entertainment. When we're hearing about the West Boys, when we're hearing about people missing, adults missing, when we're hearing about a murder thing, things, yeah, okay, Robin, I see what you're saying there also. Yeah, in that case with Ariel and all, they should never have been with their dad, with the Susan Cox Powell and all that. That's another case. We we see them as just cases. Even what did I just say? Oh yeah, Powell case. Yeah, I remember that one and all that. And we forget all the connections to it, the people who are left to mourn. Anthony Luna was also from Texas. His body was found. His mother had been the reason why I actually picked him for one of my lives is his mother had been all over Facebook looking for her son. And I just saw pictures of her and her son together, and I'm like, she needs to have her son back. There is the side, at least she has her son back. Um, there's closure. It's not the closure she wanted, but it's not the lifetime of wondering what happened now, especially when people just our minds play games with us. Major Harris, he was one of the first few I did, and Major was found again. He had been taken from his mom killed. And I mean, Major lost his life and was killed by someone who felt like they were more important than a child's life. And the last one there, Najib, I found out about a couple days ago, and I've actually had a hard time pulling myself to doing an update on him. Many of you guys might remember Najib. He was the high functioning autistic 22-year-old, 21-year-old, something like that, who had gone missing in the middle of the night. And his family was just, they were beside themselves. His father had done interviews, and all I could do was, in my head, all I could do was pray, please don't let him die. Because I see his father and his emotion, and it just completely destroyed me to even think about that possibility. And I did find out they did find his body in a desert. There's some question as to whether or not, okay, the police are like, he just wandered there and died or whatever. Family do not agree with that. Family think there's a lot more to the story. Whether there is or not, that's something they're having to go through and come to terms with themselves, and what piece they will get and what they're going to have to just hand over to knowing that he's not being hurt or anything like that. All of these, this is the one thing as I kind of close this out. This whole thing, the Missing Mondays, has become really important to me. Started off, this channel was Cantina. This channel was the Mental Health Lives. And the Missing Mondays have truly become my heart because of the stories of these people. And I want to make sure that they have the chance to be heard. Every time you hear about one of them being lost, it just destroys you. If anyone, please go back to the beginning. I put the ones that were still missing at the beginning of this video for a reason, because I do know sometimes people get through the beginning of videos and then things get slow and then whatever. So I wanted to have them there so people could make sure to get the screenshots. If you need to go back and do screenshots, You know they're all at the beginning. You do not have to scrub your way through a video to find the right screenshots. Please help us close out some of these other stories. Get the word out to people. Okay, we have Instagram, we've got Facebook, we have YouTube, people who have community pages, things like that. Just whatever you can do to help bring someone home. Because even in these cases here, these last 5 here, they were brought home. It may not have been the way we wanted to, but they were brought home. So, and we are going to continue this. Okay, this series is too important to me now to just stop. We'll continue on 2022, and we'll continue talking about some of these stories. If any of you guys hear of anything, if you guys hear of any Amber Alerts that you get, please take a second and screenshot them or whatever you have and send them to me. Okay, my email is TheLokomaiLife@gmail.com. Sometimes because of my time zone here, I don't get things as quickly as everyone else. Yeah, time works really weird in Hawaii. Even some movies start. Okay, I won't go there. I was telling someone today that actually I was telling Robbie, I remember when we used to do the Oscars or Emmys and all that. You guys would all know who won before it was even shown here in Hawaii. So the news would come on, they're like, and the best picture for this year is, oh, wait, guys, anyone who is going to watch it tonight on TV, please turn off your TV and we'll do a thumbs up when we're ready for you to come back. And also that's how everything is. And unfortunately, that's a lot of what happens with a lot of these things. I don't find out about them right away. So if you could please consider sharing anything you have with me so I can share it out. I'm trying to get things on Instagram and all until I can utilize a community page or something like that to get information out to people. Robin, I have a blog. Oh, that is wonderful. Yeah, you know, holidays are hard. It's hard to keep on top of things when you're in the middle of the holidays. Yeah, it's really crazy. I would appreciate it so much because, like I said, I don't care if people do screenshots or share my videos, or I just want the information out about these people any way that it can be done. And definitely subscribers. I won't lie. Yeah. Okay. Subscribers help because maybe I could get to the point where I do have a community tab that I can share more information with you guys throughout the week. And, but if you can please just send anything to me that you guys might have or any stories. There are many people who've been missing for years and years, and we need to share their stories also. So, thank you guys so much. I hope all you guys had an amazing Christmas. Christmas is over, but that doesn't mean we have to change. We can continue being that happy, all the memories, all the stuff like that should continue year round. As I keep saying to people, all year round, we should have that going on. We got New Year's coming up. So I hope you guys have an amazing New Year's Eve. We are going to be having tons of fireworks in Hawaii. Hawaii is known. If you ever have a chance afterwards, Google New Year's Eve in Honolulu and check out the fireworks and you'll understand what I mean. And, but please have a great one. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Mele Kalikimaka and Hau'oli Makahiki Ho. Love all you guys, and I will see y'all later this week.